What up, Planet Orange? This your boy Flex from Jersey. I'm gonna try something different today. Something I've never done. It's just too difficult on Twitter. 120 characters to truly articulate what you're trying to say. And then sometimes things can get taken out of proportion and misconstrued a little bit. So I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet. I'm gonna try to touch up on a couple things, 2-3 topics, give a little update on what I'm hearing regarding the Suns trade deadline stuff. But just want to clear some things up, guys. Again, particularly around a tweet that I sent out yesterday that seems to be getting a lot of traction, and I'm getting a lot of feedback, and quite frankly it's really not what I intended at all. But again, sometimes on Twitter you say things and how people read them and how they interpret them are out of your control. So there was a tweet yesterday, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was said something to the effect of can't get into details, but this could be the most important week in the history of the Phoenix Suns franchise. Buckle up, things can get interesting. And so it's interesting because that tweet is going to be broken down into a couple segments here, but I'm going to try to help you understand what that tweet's about and kind of get some people off the ledge, because here's the reality, man. Suns Twitter, 99% of y'all that I contact and I interact with, I love you guys, man. You guys are the best. We got great interactions, and you guys are the good side of Suns Twitter. Unfortunately, there's that 1%, that dark side of Suns Twitter, that can absolutely take things out of proportion, and fortunately I don't pay much attention to that, but other people do. And so that's how it ends up getting back to me, and it just gets out of control. And it's comical how people can spend time doing some of these things. It's just mind-boggling to me. But again, that speaks on them, not me. If you guys know me, man, I'm a positive dude. I'm from the streets of New York, New Jersey, man. So Twitter ain't hurting me, guys. Trust me. And at the end of the day, life is good, man. So to be dealing with all that negativity about basketball and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. But let's get to it, man. So the tweet said, can't get into details at the moment. Well, that's a fact. You guys know, man, listen, at the end of the day, I've been blessed to build relationships and connections around the league, around the team for many years. And people that know me, know a lot of those relationships and connections. And sometimes you get information and you just can't give the details. In this business, you'll get information. They'll tell you something that's going on. They're trusted league sources. They're people that know what's going on. So when they're telling you something, it's legit. But you just can't say, you can't get into too many details because they're telling you not to. And if you do and you violate that, then you're putting the relationship and that contact and that source, you're compromising things, and you're putting it at risk. So I'm never going to put my contacts or my sources in any line of fire. And so I'll hear something, and when I say something like, hey, I can't give details at the moment, it's because I was told, hey, right now, I'm telling you, you could tiptoe around it, but I'm not giving you permission to actually go out and start throwing out names and stuff. So that's the part of the tweet that is pretty clear. I can't get into details at the moment, and so unfortunately, if people like it, they don't like it. It is what it is, man. Now, the most interesting part of the tweet that I want to get into in this little video here, and it's quicker to do it this way than to do a whole podcast and all that stuff. So just bear with me, guys. But this might be the most important week in the history of the Phoenix Suns franchise. Okay, that's what I said, and I'm sticking with that. Okay, the problem is what people think I meant in that is entirely off base. Okay, the Phoenix Suns are 41-10. They're the best team in basketball. This is the best Phoenix Suns team I've ever seen. They have the best start in franchise history. They're coming off a championship run, 2 games from the finals. Okay, the championship is standing right in front of them. They can reach it, they can taste it, they can feel it. Okay, and so I know that they're having conversations with multiple teams and about multiple players, and that's what these teams do at this time of year. And so, knowing that, I do believe this is the most important week in the history of Phoenix Suns franchise. Not because there's some crazy, off the charts thing that's about to happen that's going to blow your mind. And I've heard all kind of things regarding whether it's Sarver, is it a blockbuster deal, is it this, is it that. Kevin Durant and James Harden aren't getting bought out, donating their money to charity and playing for the Phoenix Suns for free. That's not happening, guys. Okay, that's not what I intended to mean. I strictly meant what I said. Now, how you interpret it is up to you guys. But what I meant was this is indeed the most important week in the history of the Phoenix Suns franchise. This is indeed the most important trade deadline in the history of the Phoenix Suns franchise. But I believe that because they're so close, regardless of what deal they make, and I've heard all kinds of variations of deals, some that are pretty big, pretty significant, to some that are more middle of the pack, to some that are pretty minor around the edges, to not doing anything at all. And I believe that regardless of what they do, that decision is going to determine whether we're going to win an NBA championship in June, and whether this team is going to be champions, possibly creating a dynasty down the road with this young core and doing certain things, or a team that comes up short. So, yes, in my opinion, and I'm entitled to that, this is the most important week in the history of Phoenix Suns basketball. So that's what I meant by that. The idea that there's some secret society and there's some big secret that Flex got, that he's going to tweet out there, but he doesn't want to quite tell it. It's silly stuff. It's really silly stuff. And some people just need to grow up and do their own thing, and not worry so much about what other people are doing. But that's an entirely different thing, guys. At the end of the day, that's what I meant by that. So don't interpret that as there's some secret bomb that's about to blow up. It's not that, okay? And then the last part of the tweet in which I discuss, buckle up, things could get interesting. Again, based on the conversation I'm having, that's very factual. It could be a roller coaster. You're going to hear a lot of things from a lot of people in national media, national outlets. I might throw something out there yesterday that you might hear from Shams and Wojo come Monday or Tuesday. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not privy to get so into details as those guys. Those guys already have these relationships locked in. But in my case, I got to be a little more subtle. So that is a fact. It's going to be a roller coaster. Buckle up. It's going to get interesting. You're going to hear a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of emotions on Suns Twitter. There's going to be a lot of wondering what's going on. And so that's what I meant by buckle up. It's going to get interesting because the Phoenix Suns are indeed taking a lot of phone calls, talking to a lot of teams about a lot of potential deals and players. They're leaving no rocks unturned. And they're quite frankly going for it. I think they see the opportunity and they're not going to squander it. So they're doing their job. So that's what that tweet was about. I mean, it's real simple. Can't get into many details at the moment because I got to protect my sources. And again, the most important week in the history of the franchise is simply that. I think it is. And that's my opinion. And we'll see in June if I'm right or wrong. But I think this could be the most important week in the history of the franchise if it decides an NBA championship. And then, again, the last part is get ready for the mix-up. And then last thing I'll touch on to try to keep this a little short. I don't want to waste 10 minutes of your time. And I'm sure there's going to be corny people on Twitter that are going to say, oh, you know what, I wasted 10 minutes. It is what it is. If you want to listen, listen. If you don't. I'm doing this for the good side of Twitter, not that 1% side that's going to always be negative. But I figured in a 9 to 10 minute video, I can probably get a hell of a lot more out than in a 120 character tweet. And people don't really understand what I'm trying to say. So, Domantas Sabonis, okay? The Phoenix Suns are indeed having conversations and have had conversations with Domantas about Domantas Sabonis with the Pacers. That's a fact. He's a 2-time All-Star, should have been a 3-time All-Star this year. Terrific player, fantastic player. I'm a fan of him. And it's only right that if the Pacers call and want to gauge your interest, that you have these conversations. And so I've confirmed through multiple national people that I know that have national connections and are in the league that this is definitely happening. They are talking, they are having discussions, and I think it'll be the Suns will be fools not to. And I do believe that there is some traction to it. Now, again, who's involved, what's involved? I don't want to get into that right now. I will say that if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably not a dog, it's a duck. I say that a lot. You guys know me. So if you're gonna try to get Domantas Sabonis, you're gonna have to get something up. Are we giving up two of our core players or blue chip players? No. I think it's pretty obvious that if to get Domantas Sabonis, you got to give something up. And so the Suns will evaluate that. They'll evaluate what the Pacers are asking. They'll evaluate if they think their asking price is appropriate. And if it's appropriate, they'll make a deal. And it's that simple. And I trust James Jones. I trusted the front office. I trust that they know this team better than anybody. I trust Monty. And so I'm gonna sit back just like you guys, and I'm gonna get what I get from my sources. But at the end of the day, everyone is just sources. Whether it's Wojo, whether it's Sham, they're just sources. What the GMs are doing is an entirely different thing. Okay, and no one can control that. So we'll kind of leave it at that. Domantas Sabonis is being discussed. He's also being, there are discussions with multiple Western Conference teams. And I can't confirm the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies are two of those teams. So things could get interesting. It's a roller coaster. Buckle up. Put your seatbelt on. It's going to get interesting. But at the end of the day, the Phoenix Suns are the best team in basketball. I still think they're going to be the best team in basketball when this is all said and done. Regardless of the deal they make, whether it's a bigger move, or middle of the pack, or lower end move, I do think they will make a move. I do think Dario Saric will get traded. I do think Jalen Smith is going to get traded. And so I don't think they won't do anything. Now the magnitude of that deal is all up to what they want to do. But anything I hear that I can share without compromising sources, I'll try to put out there and try to give you guys the best idea possible of kind of what I'm hearing, what's going on. But forgive me if I just can't go out and say, hey, the Suns are giving up this player, and this player for that player. Because, yeah, that's how you don't get contacts and sources anymore. So, hey, man, Suns Twitter, I love you guys. Keep following, man. Keep checking it out. If anything pops up, I'll try to do a couple more of these videos. To make it a little easier to understand, especially during the trade deadline, because I know people are on the ledge. But everybody relax, everybody chill out. The sky's not falling. Phoenix Suns love their team, and I'm truly confident that they will only do something via trade that makes sense for short and long-term success for this basketball team. So again, hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope that cleared it up. Stop with the negative stuff, man. Life's too short. We ain't got time for all that. And enjoy y'all weekend. Let's get a dub versus Washington tonight. And if I hear anything else, I'll be back on here. Peace out, Planet Orange.